Hi guys, in this tutorial walkthrough I will show you how I created this dynamic and vibrant pastel painting of my favourite beach, Tregantle. This YouTube walkthrough is actually a sped up version from my new 8-hour in-depth Patreon tutorial. Keep watching to find out all of my favourite methods, techniques and tips throughout for creating realistic scenery artworks with soft pastels and pastel pencils. Okay, so to start with here, I'm drawing on 45 by 35 centimeters pastel matte board, and this is in the color brown. And as you can see, I've drawn a grid on top, and I'm using the grid method to achieve my accurate outlines. After doing a lot of portraits where it's crucial that the outlines are extremely accurate, it's quite refreshing to create a scenery artwork and just be a bit more loose and less rigid with the whole process, because it's not going to be super obvious if any slight details are amiss. So now using soft pastel sticks, you can see I've started filling in the base layer for the sea here. So first I used a black for the darkest areas, and then I'm using a mixture of blues, purples and yellows for the water, and the yellows and purples are particularly for the sky reflection that's in the water. So then moving to the sky, and after mapping out the sun with the bright white pigment, I can then go ahead and start filling in the base layer colours for this area and also the clouds all along the horizon. So as you can see, I'm using mainly a mixture of reds, purples and yellows, and then I'm going to take my soft sponge tool and just blend all of this together. So at this stage I'm looking for really smooth gradients and just a general soft appearance to the pastel. I don't want any textures or harsh borders between any of the sections. As for all of the detail, I can add that in with the pencil details on top. This is just a first starting base layer to sort of map out where all of the colours and values go. So here I noticed that the particular blue that I used for the water has too much green pigment in it. So the great thing about pastels is how well they blend together. So all I've done is taken a purple pastel and added that into the mixture, and those purple tones are going to help to cancel out those green tones in the blue water. So after blending out this first layer of pastel, I'm going to use a scrap bit of pastel matte board, and I'm going to sort of use it like a painting palette. So I'm going to apply some different pigments to it, and then I'm going to pick those pigments up with my sponge and then transfer them over to my artwork. So this method allows me to be really careful with my colour choice and figure out all of the different colours and values before applying them to my artwork. And because I'm transferring them over with the sponge, the effect is just a really light and soft layer of pastel. And this is important because doing it this way means that the paper isn't going to get filled in with too much pastel pigment, because if you have any experience with pastels, you know that once you've applied too much to the paper and then the tooth of the paper is filled in, it's then nearly impossible for pencil details to go on top or to add in other colours and values. So I really like using this sponge transfer method because it stops this from happening. So on top of that first base layer, I'm now picking up more vibrant pigments, and I'm also intensifying the values here. So I'm starting to get that glow that we see from the sun in the sky. And as you can see, in towards the sun, we have that brighter center where the values are lighter. And then as we go further out to the edges of the paper, things become darker and the colors change as well. So in the center, we have that light yellow. And then as we come out towards the edges, they turn into more of a red and purpley color. Okay, so now I'm going to start using pastel pencils, and I'm first going to start filling in the texture for the water here. And for this process, I first started near the horizon line. So further off into the distance, the water texture is very small, and it sort of resembles a sort of static texture rather than any discernible waves. So right by the horizon line, I'm sort of just drawing lots of lines and dots. And then as we come further down and closer towards the shoreline, the waves start to become larger in size, and this is how we can get that perspective of depth and distance. So as you can see, I first sort of mapped out some of those dark shadows, then I'm using a light cold grey to work from dark to light, so working on top of that darker base layer, and then this colder grey pencil is bringing out the highlights from some of the water reflections. Immediately below the sun, we're going to start to get more of an intense reflection in the water, and I've just started putting this in by using a pale purple pencil. And then just continuing with that cold grey to gradually build up the highlighted texture in the water. So refining further on from the base layer, I'm using a mixture of blacks and dark blues for those shadowy wave sections, and then on top of the highlighted areas I can go in with some even lighter cold greys, and so we're starting to get a greater variation between the colours and the values as well. Having these main shadowed waves going across the water section allows the whole area to be broken up, which helps with drawing the details by drawing them in sections so that is not too overwhelming. As you can see, there's obviously a lot of detail in this piece, and I often find when that happens with an artwork, it's always better to break it up into smaller sections and then tackle a small part at a time before moving on, just so that the task isn't too daunting. Here I'm making sure to add some vibrant dark blue pigments to the water because any added saturation and vibrancy I think is going to add to the piece. So where we have those dark shadows in the water, I'm also adding these pigments in as well, just so that it isn't just black. I'm also starting to figure out the highlights for the sky reflection in the water, and for that I'm using some light pinks and yellows, and then here I'm also just going to reinforce the shadowed wave with some black and blues. So if we take a closer look here, for the section of the water which is intensely reflecting the sky, I'm using some more vibrant oranges, and this is going to help the water to look colourful. Often when using very light colours like the lighter yellows and pinks that I've been using, sometimes the saturation can be lacking, so I also like to put in a mixture of vibrant pencils where possible as well. And then as we come to the sides of the artwork, things become less bright and intense, so I will reflect that as well with my colour choices. And here I'm also just building up this wave shape here by again using some of those blues and blacks, and really just thinking about the values in the area to build up that 3D shape. Okay, so let's zoom out again and you can really start to see the changes in the sizes of the elements. So further back to the horizon, we have just lots of small dots and lines, and then as we're coming down the artwork and then closer to the viewer, things are becoming larger and more in focus, and that's giving us that realistic 3D sense of depth here. So now immediately below the sun, I'm starting to really intensify that light reflection that we see coming from the sun in this area. And again, further back to the horizon, those reflections are less intense and they're thinner. And then as we're coming further towards the viewer, things start to widen out a bit and the colors and the brightness gets a little bit more intense as well. And then to the other side, I'll repeat the same process of adding in those highlights on top of the dark base layer, but I'm also going to use some darker colors as well to go in between to fill in some of the shadows and build up that texture even further. And you can see in comparison to the horizon area, these shapes and reflections in the water are becoming increasingly larger as we come further down the artwork. And again, this is playing on that perspective of things coming from the distance and then into the foreground towards us. So you can see with this main rolling wave here, I've first mapped out the darkest shadows and the darker base layer, and then sticking with the working from dark to light, I'm adding in those lighter colors and values on top for the highlights. So I'm working in multiple layers to bring up that 3D shape. And then once completed, I can then come down to this last water section here, and I'm first going to use a mixture of blacks and dark greys to start mapping out some of the shadows and darker areas that I see in the water, and then I can work my highlights around those once those darker areas are mapped out. Now as we come further down from the horizon to this last section at the shore, the texture in the water differs from the other section because instead of having a full body of water, this last section here is getting spread out along the sand, so it's more flat and we have sort of textures that resemble ripples rather than waves. Here I'm using my Caran d'Ache pastel pencils for these intense sunlight reflections that I see in this area, and this is because the Caran d'Ache are the most pigmented pastel pencil brand, and then I can continue adding in some of the lighter colours and highlights to the other side. So now that more of it's drawn in, you can see that the texture in this water is more ripply rather than wavy. So now to finish off this area, I'm just using a mixture of blacks and dark greys just to enhance some of those shadowed ripples that I see in the water here. Okay, so coming down to this final section at the bottom here, which is the shoreline and the sand. So obviously we're not going to have any ripples or wave textures, but there are some shadows and darker elements throughout this area, and it's still quite wet from where the previous wave has been. And we also have that intense sunlight reflection as well as we see in the water. It does look a little different though, as it more resembles dots rather than the lines that we've been putting in the water. And so once all that's in place, I can then move on to the sky, which is the most exciting part in my opinion. Okay, so now coming to the sky area, and the first thing I'm going to do is take a brown pastel pencil and start to refine the very edges of the cloud. I want to get those familiar shapes in either side of the sun and also start to just generally darken the area, so I'll also use some dark greys here as well as other shades of brown. Again, I'm using the blendability of pastels to my advantage, so here I'm mixing warm browns with cold greys, and this is giving me that sort of neutral darker colour which closely resembles the colours that I see in the reference photo. So we're not always going to have the exact colours that we need in both the pastel sticks and pastel pencils, but what we can do is just mix and combine different pencils and sticks together, which is what I'm doing here. I personally love looking at big volumetric clouds in the sky, so when I took this photo at the beach, I was really excited to come back to the studio and draw this piece, especially as we start to get that play of light from the sun dipping behind as well. So we're starting to get some purples and oranges in certain places, so especially around the sun itself, but we also have this glow being casted on some of the other surrounding areas as well. So I can again start to just build up the layers using lighter and vibrant pencils, and you'll see in a bit those glowing effects start to take place. And I think this also really helps to give a sense of scale, dimension and depth. So here I've just created a gradient from the bright white of the sun, which then turns to a yellow and then an orange and then a red and then the outer darker colours of the cloud. Then once that's in place and we have that sort of sunshine effect going on as the sun is dipping behind the cloud, I'm then going to start to add in the glow that happens all along the cloud's outline. So again, as you can see, it's sort of a gradient. As we come closer into the sun, things are brighter. So here I've been able to use a white pencil, and I'm using the white Caran d'Ache as it's the whitest pastel pencil I own. And then as we come further out, things change to a yellow and then an orange and then deep reds towards the edges. This gradient of brightness and also color is exactly what happens in nature too. And again, just a quick reminder that this whole sped up video here on YouTube is taken from the tutorial which is now on Patreon, which is in a real time. So if you're interested in any of the methods and techniques used for this artwork, then the full tutorial is available to watch on Patreon, along with many others included in the subscription. And if you want to find out more about that, you can check out the link in the description. So here I've just repeated that same glowing process on the outlines on the cloud for the other side, and now I'm just going to go back to the left side with some oranges that start to pick out the more darker and subtle highlights towards the edges of the artwork. This shift in brightness and colour is simply due to being more distant from the sun. So here I'm just taking a dark grey and I'm very lightly shading on top to just mix in with the layers underneath and darken them slightly, just to pick out some of the more shaded areas in the clouds here. Here I'm also going to mix in some of those deep red tones that I see as the light gets stretched out towards the edges. And all I have to do is shade with a very light pressure, basically using the side of the pencil tip, and this is going to lightly combine with the pigments which are already there. So now I'm going to draw these single floating clouds that we see hovering above this main cloud area. So first I used a kneadable eraser to lift off the layers of pastel which were already there, and then I can and then I'm going to use a mixture of dark greys, browns and reds to draw in those very subtle shadows and highlights that we see in the cloud here. Now as we are quite further out from the sun, there's not really going to be any intense highlights, but there will be for these next clouds that I'm going to draw in. So as you can see, I again used the kneadable eraser to lift off the pastel in the area, and then I'm drawing in the base layers. So for the furthest cloud away from the sun, I used just a subtle warm brown, and then as we're coming closer into the sun and things get brighter, I've put down an orange base layer, which I will then build upon the shadows and highlights on top. But here you can see I've gone straight in with the vibrancy, which I think is really important for the overall look and appeal to the artwork. We don't want any subtle or dull colours. And then once those main tones and values were in place, it was then just a matter of refining and going over the area until things were smoothed and softened out. And again, if you want to see how this happens in real time, feel free to check out the full tutorial on Patreon. So here I'll repeat the same process for this cloud on the right side, and you can see it's all about layering and building that color up. So starting with a basic base layer, and then I'm adding in the vibrancy as well as the shadows and highlights in subsequent layers on top. And last but not least, I always finish an artwork off by doing a signature. So anyway, here is the finished artwork, and I would love to know what you think about it in the comments. I absolutely adore working with pastels and beach sunsets, so it was only a matter of time until an artwork like this was created. If you enjoyed this tutorial and would like to gain a much more in-depth understanding into the process, this full near 8-hour tutorial is available to learn from right now on my Patreon channel. The tutorial is not sped up, so you are welcome to draw alongside me if you wish to. You will learn how to best layer soft pastels and how to manipulate value, colour and texture to create a realistic sense of depth and scale. And as always with my tutorials, you will also be supplied with the full materials list so you're not left guessing what was used. If that sounds like something which would be useful for you, I invite you to join my Patreon channel where you will find this tutorial and many other soft pastel tutorials which are available to watch right now. We have a growing community of currently 900 artists which is growing every day. Feel free to check out all of the available lessons, and you can find the link to my Patreon in the description for this video. Before you go, you're also welcome to grab my free pastel introduction guide which contains a ton of useful information and tips. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.